What's up, guys? And today we're going to be talking about the top 20 most terrifying fighters in the UFC. Now, before we start, I'm going to tell you my criteria. You've had to at least have been in the UFC for like one or two fights, or just involved with the UFC in any way. That's like the most important part. There are some guys on here that were like on the Ultimate Fighter, or some guys on here that had massive holes in their game. Also, another thing about that, if you have had massive holes in your game, like with your wrestling, or you've had like a glass chin, that will knock you down a little bit, but not too much. Not too much. But the highest thing that we're going to be scoring here is demeanor. Aura is a good part of it as well. Power and just how good they were in their prime. So like, there's going to be some guys on here that a lot of them went on a lengthy losing streak before retiring. I mean, some guys went on a winning streak before retiring, but most of them definitely have either been 50-50 or have gone on a losing streak, but we're not really going to count that. We're just going to count them in their prime. But yeah, let's move on to the first pick, Jimmy Manuwa. Now listen. I know it's kind of a surprising pick, and this guy has gotten KO'd badly by Alexander Rakic, but still, in his prime, before he got derailed by Rakic, this man was fucking insane. Like, this man was going on multiple winning streak against good competition. Like, you know. But yeah, let's move on to number 19. Jacare Souza. This fucker was absolutely terrifying in his prime. Like, just the look. You know, he's a big, strong Brazilian. He was very good fucking grappler. Very good grappler. Like, if someone ever submitted this guy, which a couple people have, like, you're fucking insane on the ground. Insane. This guy in his prime was super good. And he's actually considered like a pretty well-known name. Let's move on to number 18. Kimbo Slice. Now, there are two big holes in his game. He's a very good brawler, a crazy street fighter. He's the reason why Jorge Masvidal was coming up as well. Like, he mentored Jorge Masvidal. So this guy is a legend, but he had two major holes in his game, man. His cardio and his takedown defense. It was mainly his grappling was his biggest downer. Let's move on to number 17. Bob fucking Sapp. Bob Sapp. Now this guy, just looking at him, I don't really need to explain why this fucker is terrifying, but this guy really let go a lot of fights. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys know that this man was getting paid like $75K to throw fights, or like only fight for like the first minute and then just give up. So that's why he's this low on my list. And his record as well isn't the greatest either. I mean, I'm gonna show his record right now. It's not that good. It's not that good. But yeah, let's move on to number 16, I think. Number 16? Shane Carwin. Now, this guy is going through a lot right now. I remember Brendan Schaub talking about Shane Carwin and like, he's struggling right now. So as a tribute to him, I mean, he's not dead, but like, he is struggling. So I think he deserved to be on this list. Like, this man was on a fucking winning streak. He was on like a 6-fight win streak in the UFC until he fought, who was it? Brock Lesnar. And I think he gassed out against Brock Lesnar and he lost. And then he fought JDS and then he lost again. But he had a pretty small stint in the UFC, but he was fucking scary for a little bit, man. Like, there was a point in time where this man was just the most terrifying guy. One of the most terrifying guys in the division at the time. So yeah, I think he deserves to be on this list. Now, number 15 is going to be quite surprising to all of you guys. Robelis de Spain. Now, look, I get it, right? This guy is 1-1 in the UFC, and he's gotten held down. But I did say that some of these guys would have massive holes in their game. But Robelis de Spain is fucking terrifying. The man is 6'7" and he has an 87.5-inch reach, which is fucking insane. He's massive, and the dude is just terrifying in general. And okay, don't get me wrong. Say this guy loses his next fight against Austin Lane, or like he gets chinned or something like that, take him off the list. I'll take him off the list, replace him with JDS or some shit like that. Also, I just realized with Bob Sapp, okay, hold on, I'll talk about this later. I'll talk about this later. But look at this fucker. He's massive. Look at him. Look, bro. Look at this guy. I'm sorry, I just had to show you guys this picture. But I just realized something while we're here. Bob Sapp wasn't in the UFC, so replace Bob Sapp with Derek Lewis. That was my bad. I did not mean to do that. That was completely my bad. Yeah, replace Bob Sapp with Derek Lewis, guys. Replace him with Derek Lewis. Like, really, like, because I don't know why I put Bob Sapp there. But anyway, Jesus, look at how fucking massive this guy is. Now, number 14 is going to be a pretty big surprise to a lot of you, but listen, hear me out. Hear me out, alright? I know this guy is the least expected person that you thought was going to be on this list. Like, you thought I was going to have Wanderlei Silva or something here, or you probably expected me to have him higher, which I do. I do have Wanderlei Silva on my list, but Michel Pereira is terrifying to me because it's fucking scary just seeing this man hit backflips in the middle of his combos, and you can't do anything about it. Like, my man is legit backflipping onto people's heads, bro. Like, can you imagine just getting hit with a concussive punch, and then this fucker just backflips on your head? Like, that's terrifying. And in general, he actually is pretty terrifying. Like, this man does have pretty insane aura. Like, I can't lie. Like, this man's aura is very insane. He was destroying people at welterweight. He just could barely fucking make welterweight, and then he moves up in weight and is destroying people at middleweight, 15 pounds higher. Insane. Rampage Jackson, and we're at number 13. Now look, I did tell you that you could switcheroo these guys, but Rampage was fucking terrifying in his prime, alright? We saw the slam, we saw everything, but I just think these guys are higher than him. But you can switch. Like, I have Wanderlei Silva coming up next. You can switch these guys around. Keep that in mind. You can. So, like, put your list down in the comments of, like, what you would change. You could even change the top 10. Like, you could do whatever you want. Just tell me what you would have the list as in your own opinion. But this is my opinion. But next guy, as I said before, Wanderlei Silva. Now, this fucker was on a 17-fight winning streak in Pride. I know it wasn't in the UFC, but still. I mean, his fucking nickname is called the Axe Murderer. That's fucking insane. Imagine being called that. The Axe Murderer. That's fucking terrifying, dude. So, yeah, I mean, Wanderlei Silva's a legend. I know he has had the greatest relationship with the UFC, but he was still in the UFC for a good amount of time, so, yeah. And you could put Rampage above Wanderlei, since Rampage did KO Wanderlei in the UFC, but I just think in general Wanderlei is scarier than Rampage. They're both scary fuckers. But anyway, next in my top 10 is Brock Lesnar. Now, I know you probably expected me to have him a bit higher. Reason why I don't have him that high is because he didn't fight too much in the UFC. I know Shane Carwin only had like 8 fights, and I know Brock Lesnar has like around that amount, like 7-8 fights, but the man got TKO'd badly against Overeem, who I have above him, and he got beaten by Cain Velasquez, I'm pretty sure, who I have above him. So the two guys that have beaten him, I have above him. So that's just the reason. That's just the only reason why I have Brock Lesnar here. But his physique is fucking insane. Like, this guy has legit combine numbers. Like, have you seen it, Dev? Like, I saw Joe Rogan glazing it, and I could see why. Because this man's like a 300-pound man. and he has to cut weight to go down to heavyweight, like cut a good amount of weight, and they had to make a new fucking glove size for this fucker because he's so massive. So like there's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things that could maybe put Brock Lesnar higher. Like you could maybe put him at 9, but I just think Brock Lesnar at 10 I think Brock Lesnar at 10 isn't bad. You're the top 10 scariest fucker ever. So like these next couple guys I think are scarier in a way. So yeah, there's Brock Lesnar. Now at number 9 we have Rumble. All right. And this fucker was a fucking legend. Rest in peace, dude. Rest in peace. Like this guy was actually such a nice person, and like he'd even talk trash at like any press conferences. Like he doesn't even like to knock people out. Like that's how nice of a guy this dude was. Rest in peace, man. But this guy was actually insane. He was terrifying because this man went from being at 170. Like keep in mind, this guy walks around at 230. He tried to go down to 170. That's like Alex Pereira. Like he's like the size of Alex Pereira, except maybe not as like tall as, definitely not as tall, but he's legit the size of Alex Pereira. He's fucking massive, and he tried to go down to 170 until he eventually, I think he fought like once or like a couple times out 185, and then he moved up to 205, and that's when he had the most success. Like this dude was sleeping everybody, Glover Teixeira, and like a lot of other guys at that fucking weight class, and this man was a fucking legend, bro. Anyway, at number 8 we have the fucking Ubereem, the Oob. Like this man is juiced up to the fucking gills, the tainted horseman himself. He actually might have looked bigger than this. But yeah, this dude is the fucking size of a fucking behemoth. Like this guy looks like a fucking behemoth. Now, there's one thing that's wrong with Overeem, and I'm pretty sure you already know what I'm gonna say. Not the drugs, not the tainted horse meat. No, not that. I am talking about his glass fucking chin. This guy has had a glass chin, not just at the latter half of his career, for his whole career, even when he was young, even when he was a baby, even before he hit the tainted horse meat. Like this man has had a glass chin for his whole career. And I did say that if you have a glass chin, you're gonna get knocked down a bit, and that's why he's as low as he is. But I mean, number 8 isn't bad. Like number 8's pretty fucking good, I'd say. And I feel like Overeem deserves to be at the spot, especially for what guy I'm about to mention next. Mirko Cro Cop. This fucker is terrifying. He's Croatian. Like this man, his kicks, don't even get me started on his fucking kicks. This guy was a terrifying being in Pride. And I know he's been KO'd before, he's been flatlined, like, but he hasn't been flatlined as many times as Overeem, and because Overeem has been flatlined a lot. And also Cro Cop, even right after that, he would fight again and still go on a lengthy winning streak. But at number 6 we have Tony Ferguson. I fucking love this guy. Now I did say that I'm not gonna include lengthy losing streak. Let's just ignore the 9 fights that this man has lost. All right, let's not talk about that. This guy is fucking terrifying. Like, and just looking at it, look at this picture. Let's just analyze this picture. Like, I don't need to talk about the 12 fight winning streak. I just need to talk about this fucking picture. Like, look at him. He's all bony. Like, you could see his bony shoulders. He has such long arms. Like, he's lanky, but he's like still fit. Like, this guy just looks like, he looks inhuman. Like, he looks non-human. He doesn't look like a real human being, which is, at this time, he wasn't a real human being, which is why he's at number 6. This fucking dude was terrifying. And even the mouthpiece, the mouth guard adds to this picture as well, especially at different angles. Like, this was the most insane Tony has ever been in a fight. Like, looking at this man. Now at number 5, we got Cain Velasquez. Oh shit. Ignore the low quality pick, alright? The pick is very low quality. Leave me alone. But Cain Velasquez, I mean, I would maybe put him at number 4, but his career was very short. He had a very short prime, I would say, because he just had so many injuries, man. So many injuries. Like Dominic Cruz type shit, but not as bad as Dominic Cruz. But yeah, like this man has gone through a lot in his life and in his career. But when this dude was at his prime, he was the greatest heavyweight. He was the greatest. He was the most scariest guy ever in the heavyweight division when he was in his prime. Like, the dude would just break you. It's like exactly like Tony Ferguson. Like, the guy would just break you. Like, he wasn't the most technically sound, or he wasn't the most skillful on the striking or whatever, but he would just break you. Now, at number 4, we have Jake Hadley. He's the fucking goat, mate. Jake Hadley. Now, at the real number 4 is gonna be Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor Emelianenko. This fucker, terrifying. Extremely terrifying being. I'm pretty sure you already know when this fucker got slammed on his head and just didn't even react, and then proceeds to win like a minute later. It's fucking insane. Like, this guy is terrifying, is a very terrifying human being, very terrifying person. Just extremely terrifying. I mean, I don't even really need to explain it. I mean, he's number 4 for a reason, but these next 3 guys are unrecognizable when you see them fight. They're fucking terrifying. Now, number 3, we have Francis Ngannou. Now, this man has absolutely brutalized the Reem. Down goes the Reem! Down goes the Reem! Like, it's so funny hearing John Anik say that. But, I mean, Francis Ngannou, his rise was just fucking insane. And this is against modern UFC competition as well, like where everyone has improved somewhat. The heavyweight division hasn't improved too much. I mean, they have improved, but not that much. But still, in the modern era, this fucker was the most terrifying. And then even then, when he lost to Stipe Miocic, he came back and just was patient, and then KO'd Stipe, and then he beat Cyril Gane. Like, this man was on another fucking level. And he's about to fight Renan Ferreira, so let's see if he's able to win that. And if he doesn't, he might get bumped down, like, by 1, but I don't know. This man has already proved that he's fucking terrifying. Very, very terrifying. Now, I'm pretty sure you all know by the thumbnail of this video who I'm gonna go next. And now we're moving on to the top 2 fighters, and that is Alex Poatan Pereira. Now, need I say more? Like, I don't really need to say anything. I do not need to say a single thing. Shama. That's it. That's all I need to say. All right, number 1, we have Khalil Rountree. This dude fights people like they own money, man. Okay, no, for real. The real number 1, Chael Sonnen. I mean, he's the fucking undefeated, undisputed Chad of them all. Even though he fucking yaps, I don't care. This man's a fucking legend. He's the GOAT, undefeated, 54-0, 80-0, actually. Every single time this man breathes, he adds another win to his record. Yeah, he's the number 1. He's the number 1 pound for pound. Fuck John Jones. Chael Sonnen could come back and absolutely dominate John Jones for all 5 rounds. 50-40, bro. 50-40, guys. 50-40. That's it. But, yeah. See you guys later. Bye.